Buckeye Talk back at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. Ohio State had its 7th spring practice. We just got done talking to offensive linemen and tight ends, and there's obviously a lot of discussion about what's happening right now and what's going to be happening this fall and how those two correlate, but also a lot of discussion about something that happened a few months ago. I'm Nathan Baird, along with Stephen Means and Doug Lesmerises. And Doug, you were talking to Ohio State center Luke Whippler, and he brought up how much the Ohio State-Michigan game, the loss to Michigan from last Thanksgiving weekend, is still very present in the lives of these players. In fact, it was very present in their life this morning.
So somebody asked him, are you guys talking about Notre Dame at all, talking about Michigan? And he was like, yeah, the team up north we are. He said that game was on this morning, and the TV almost came down. And I was like, what? I was it on at breakfast or something? And I have to double-check it, but the way I understand it, as he explained it, I think it must have been he said it was on the Big Ten Network replay on Thursday morning, like the hour-long cut-up when they squish it together. And the Big Ten Network was just on in the Woody as they were getting ready for practice. And so it was on, and they were watching it. And Luke Whippler is a very cerebral guy. He prides himself on his football IQ, and he was agitated. He was his leg was going up and down, and he was sort of staring off into space when he talked about it, like he was in the zone. I said, are you still mad about this? He was like, yeah. And it seemed like I said, did this sort of help in practice today? And he was like, yeah. They accidentally. Now, we're trying to figure out if there was a diabolical plan. It wasn't on the Big Ten Network. Ryan Day just put it on the internal feed, But it was a sometimes when we talk about the Michigan game and the rivalry with these guys, some of the stuff can be a little canned. That it's you're taught it, right? This was an angry Buckeye at the end of March after catching a glimpse of the game from last year. And it was oh, yeah, no, that is real to me. You're mad, and you're waiting, whatever it is, 8 months from now for the chance to avenge that. So I thought it was a very real Ohio State-Michigan moment, which I think our dear viewers and listeners like to hear about.
I think fans appreciate that. I think they want that palpable anger, except they don't want it to have happened. It's something that is foreign to this program. They haven't had to feel that in a while. Fans don't want to experience it, but when it does happen, I think they like that it hangs around and is the fire is burning under these guys for 365. Steven, do you think it's healthy that they still have this level of just demonic anger towards this game? And but they have to process it the right way, right? It has to not be a distraction for you.
Yeah, you got to process demonic feelings the right way. Buckeye Talk. It worked for them in 2020 when they obsessed over Clemson. And then they went out there and kicked their butt. So, yeah, I think it's fine. I will say, whether it was randomly on the Big Ten Network replay or they put it on themselves, I'm pretty sure the people in that building made it a point to make sure that game was on while they were up in that cafeteria over there eating, because they knew that was going to be the reaction there. It's the rivalry game, but also this is a football player who plays a position that was if you started ranking the positions at fault for why this happened, offensive line is pretty high up there, given the way Aiden Hutchinson and David Ajabo ate in that game. So I get it. If he's ticked off about that, yeah, he probably should be. So, yeah, I think it's a combination of maybe it was randomly on, but it wasn't randomly on that television in this building.
Yeah, I think that the motivational tactic makes sense. Ryan Day has definitely used – you all right there, Doug?
I've been coughing for 5 weeks. Someday I will stop coughing, but that day is not today.
Speaking of demonic possessions – Doug will work on that. I was just going to say that I think it's great that they use it for motivational tactics, but I think it's just as important that they use it from a technical standpoint. Here's why the tackles last year got their butt kicked by Aiden Hutchinson and David Ajabo, and here's what you have to do better. Here's why you didn't run the ball well in some short yardage situations, why the guards have to be better next year to open those holes and get that 1, 2, 3 yards that they were having trouble getting at really crucial times of the game. So I think it's got to be both. I think it's got to be motivational. I think it has to be instructional, and they've got 6 more months. Well, more than that, 6 months to the start of the season, and then 9 more months before they actually get to try to go avenge that loss. More about the offensive line and the tight ends on Friday's episode of Buckeye Talk, and get the text 614-350-3315, where you don't have to listen to Doug cough. You can just hear what he has to say.